In the unforgiving theater of the wild, survival is a game of calculated risks, yet for the inexperienced, overconfidence is a poison that acts faster than any venom. The African savanna is a place where titles like apex predator are earned every single day, and losing that title often means losing one's life. It is an environment that punishes ego with brutal efficiency, teaching lessons in blood and bone to those who think their strength is absolute. Under the searing gaze of the midday sun, the landscape holds its breath, waiting for the next creature to fall victim to its own hubris. In this world, the hierarchy of power is not always dictated by size. Sometimes it is dictated by the hidden, lethal defenses of the seemingly vulnerable. Enter the young leopard. He is the embodiment of raw potential and unearned arrogance. His coat is a canvas of beautiful rosettes, but beneath it, his ribs press against his skin, a testament to a string of failed hunts and missed opportunities. Hunger is a cruel master, and for this young cat it has begun to cloud his judgment, turning his natural caution into a dangerous irritability. He believes the world owes him a meal simply because of the shadow he casts and the lineage he represents. To him, every creature smaller than a buffalo is a potential victim, and today, his eyes have settled on a target that looks deceptively easy. He stalks through the grass, convinced that his victory is inevitable. Emerging from the twilight shadows is the porcupine. To most seasoned hunters, this rodent is a walking fortress to be avoided. But the young leopard sees only a slow, waddling ball of meat. He watches the porcupine shuffle through the scrubland, its head down, seemingly oblivious to the lethal predator stalking just meters away. The leopard's tail twitches. He ignores the rhythmic metallic rattling of the quills, a sound that should be a siren of danger. He is driven by the desperate hunger of youth and the certainty that he is in control. With a burst of explosive energy, the young leopard launches himself forward. He doesn't aim for a strategic strike. He wants to overwhelm his prey with sheer force. He expects the porcupine to scurry away in terror. Instead, the porcupine does something the leopard did not anticipate. It stops. It hunkers down and spreads its arsenal of hundreds of needle-sharp quills, turning itself into a field of bayonets. The leopard's front paws, extended for the kill, collide with this wall of defense. Dozens of barbed quills sink deep into his sensitive pads. The shock is instantaneous. A high-pitched yowl escapes his throat as he recoils, but the damage is done. Pain usually teaches caution, but in the heat of a hunt, it can also breed a dangerous, blind rage. The young leopard, frustrated by this resistance, becomes reckless. He snaps his jaws at the porcupine's flank, hoping to find a gap. Each strike only rewards him with more agony. Quills pierce his muzzle, his lips, and his chest. He is becoming a living pincushion, his own blood matting his golden fur. The emotional shift is visible in his wide, frantic eyes. The predator's confidence has vanished, replaced by a haunting confusion. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Now, the young leopard is trapped in a nightmare of his own making, a victim of his own predatory instincts. He stands over the porcupine, shivering from the searing pain of the quills embedded deep in his flesh, each one a sharp reminder of his failure. Every movement causes the microscopic barbs to work their way further into his muscles, creating fire that radiates through his entire body. He prepares for one final, lethal bite, a last-ditch effort to salvage his pride and end the struggle. But as he looks down at his mangled paws and feels the warm, metallic trickle of blood from his nose, the truth sets in. He has attacked the wrong opponent, and as he finds himself pinned and bleeding in the dust, he realizes that this mistake might cost him his life. While the young leopard retreats into the shadows to nurse his wounds, the golden grass of the African savanna tells a different story of misplaced confidence. Here, the sun beats down on a land ruled by the pride of lions, the undisputed monarchs. For these heavyweights, the world is divided into two categories, their subjects and their snacks. They move with a grace that suggests they have everything to gain. On this afternoon, the pride is lounging in the shade of an acacia tree, their golden amber eyes scanning the horizon. But the challenge they find is not what they expected. Trudging through the grass with a silver-gray coat and a low-slung body is the honey badger. To a pride of hungry lions, this looks like a minor nuisance, a small creature that should be terrified. The honey badger is barely a foot tall, dwarfed by the massive muscles of the lions watching him approach. He moves with a rolling gait, his nose twitching as he searches for grubs, seemingly oblivious to the fact that he has just wandered into the den of kings. His thick hide is designed to resist bites, and his mind is wired for absolute persistence. The lions do not see a threat. They see sport. A few young lionesses rise from the dust, their tails twitching. They fan out with precision, circling the intruder until he is trapped in a ring of golden fur and sharp teeth. Any other animal would have bolted, triggering a chase that would end in a predictable snap of the neck. But the honey badger does not run. He stops, squares his shoulders, and emits a low, rattling growl that vibrates with an unending intensity far beyond his size. It is the sound of a creature that has long since deleted fear from its genetic code. The tension snaps when a lioness strikes with a heavy paw, intending to pin the badger to the earth. In an instant, the small creature transforms into a whirlwind of teeth and claws. He doesn't just dodge, he lunges forward, his thick, loose skin allowing him to twist even within a predator's grip to find a counterattack. The lions are stunned. They are used to prey that struggles to escape, not an opponent that meets their gaze with a roar of pure fury. The honey badger's motivation is primal survival, powered by an instinct that tells him the best defense is a terrifying, unrelenting offense. Instead of cowering, the honey badger targets the lion's most sensitive areas. He aims for the nose, the eyes, and the soft tissue of the underbelly. His teeth find purchase on the muzzle of a startled lioness, and she recoils with a yelp of shock. The David versus Goliath dynamic is now a bloody reality. The lions realize that while they could eventually kill this intruder, the cost will be paid in deep scars and potentially blinding injuries. The honey badger is a fighter who refuses to acknowledge the odds, his ferocity creating a psychological barrier the lions struggle to breach. A sense of dread, entirely foreign to the pride of lions, begins to permeate the air. They look at one another with confusion. How can a creature 1/10 their size hold them at bay? Their status as kings feels suddenly fragile, challenged by a ball of muscle and fur that doesn't care about their titles. The lion's movements become hesitant. They are no longer hunters. They have become the hunted in their own backyard, forced to defend themselves against a manic attacker that knows no retreat. Sensing the pride's hesitation, the massive male lion, the maned leader, finally steps forward. He is the ultimate authority, an unyielding wall of muscle designed for ending conflicts. He lets out a roar that shakes the earth, intending to intimidate the badger. But as the dust settles, the badger doesn't flinch. He fixes his dark eyes on the patriarch and makes a move so daring that the pride is forced into a humiliating choice that will haunt their legacy on the very heart of the plains. While the lions of the savannah reflect on their humility, a different tension brews where golden grass meets the great river. The heat is a heavy weight, and the water moves with deceptive stillness. Submerged just beneath the surface, eyes like polished stones track a flicker of movement on the shore. This is the realm of the Nile crocodile, a prehistoric titan that has survived eons by being the ultimate opportunist. He is a master of patience, a living log waiting for the perfect moment to snap. His focus is locked onto a small gray shape near the reeds, the baby hippo. The calf, playful and unaware of the emerald eyes watching him, has drifted just a few yards too far from the safety of the pod. The Nile crocodile sees only a soft target, a vulnerable bundle of protein. In his cold reptilian mind, there is no room for sentiment. He only sees the meal. He slides forward, his massive tail propelling him with silent, lethal efficiency through the silt. But the crocodile has made a fatal error. He has mistaken the absence of the mother's physical presence for an absence of her protection. He does not realize that the mother hippo is less than 20 feet away, submerged like a dormant volcano, her senses keenly tuned to every ripple near her offspring. The water erupts. The Nile crocodile launches his prehistoric frame out of the depths, his jaws agape to claim the baby hippo. But before those serrated teeth can clamp down, the river itself seems to explode in a geyser of foam and fury. The mother hippo breaks the surface with the force of a freight train. She does not simply intervene, she becomes a wall of muscle and maternal rage. Her roar is a guttural vibration that can be felt in the very bones of any creature nearby. With a speed that defies her multi-ton bulk, she lunges, her own massive jaws aiming directly for the predator's midsection. This is the collision of two of nature's most terrifying forces. The Nile crocodile, usually the one who dictates the terms of a fight, suddenly finds himself on the receiving end of a bone-crushing assault. The mother hippo's tusks, long and sharp as bayonets, rake across the crocodile's armored back. She grabs the predator by the torso and shakes him with a violent, neck-snapping intensity. The crocodile, who moments ago was the undisputed king of the shallows, is now being tossed around like a discarded toy. He feels the crushing weight of her skull against his ribs, the sheer power of an animal that has everything to lose. His instinct for a meal is instantly replaced by a desperate, frantic need to escape. The mother hippo stands her ground, a colossus of gray flesh shielding the trembling baby hippo. The defeated crocodile retreats into the deep, dark currents, his scales scarred and his ego shattered by the realization that some targets are simply untouchable. This scene of raw protection mirrors the struggles we have witnessed across the wild. From the scrubland where the young leopard still picks at the painful quills in his paws, to the plains where the massive male lion and his pride watched a tiny honey badger walk away with its head held high, the lesson is the same. Nature does not always favor the largest or the most aggressive. The young leopard learned that hunger is no match for a well-defended heart. The pride of lions discovered that status means nothing to a foe with zero fear. And here, at the river's edge, the Nile crocodile found that the bond of family is the most dangerous force on earth. These predators return to their territories changed, humbled by the survivors who refused to be victims. The hierarchy of the wild is defined by more than just teeth and claws. It is defined by the will to fight when the stakes are everything. Overconfidence is a predator's greatest weakness, and the smallest creatures often prove to be the most formidable when pushed to the brink.